Misfits Boxing is coming back to the zone. It's heading to Nashville, and there is tag team mania all over the place. The card is announced, the card is out, and as Mams Taylor has been promising for a long time, there's craziness, there's carnage written all over it. Mams joins me now, as does KSI. Fellas, good afternoon. How are we doing?
Well, I was going to let you start, Mams, but
That excited, are
I
we?
was going to let you start.
oh, okay. Well, I'm good. I'm good. Just enjoying my little break. Obviously, my focus is still on Tommy Fury, and during that time, I'm just working on certain techniques, certain ways to beat him, and yeah, just making sure I stay fit, strong. I'm eating good, playing games, cyber videos. Yeah, I'm big chilling right now.
I saw a clip of you on social media earlier today in the gym. It's got to be said you're working on power shots. I guess this is in anticipation of Tommy.
Well, from what I saw from Jake, I just didn't see the power from him. He landed a couple overhand rights, and it just seemed like it didn't phase Tommy. Whereas I just know as soon as I do that, if I land just one, I know I'm knocking him out. So yeah, it's a different ball game between me and Jake, and I'm excited to show the world that I'm a different specimen.
We'll definitely pick up Tommy in a little bit because it's something that we can ignore and or wait for. But the breaking news at the moment is a 008 card has been announced. And Mams must be as happy as a kid at Christmas because it's coming to Nashville. We've got to start with
his backyard.
I hope it is in his backyard. We've got to see these donkeys, man. But listen, we've got to start at the top of the card. Survivor tag, Mams. What have we done?
Survivor tag. 4 competitors, 4 fighters, only 2 fighters in the ring at any one given time. It's every man for himself. Each fighter has the goal to be the last man standing in this. You tag any of the other fighters at any given time. Refusal of a tag results in elimination. Any knockdown results in elimination until the last man is standing. And if it goes the distance, then at that point, it goes to the judges' scorecards.
I have this vision in my head, right, of the broadcast, literally seconds before the bell's about to ring, and the camera is going across to each of the faces, and they're all just looking. All the fighters are just looking at each other. They don't know what to look. They don't know who's going on and who. I can't compute that. It's just there is just no more drama that you could possibly get in combat sports. No.
Welcome to Misfits, baby. Constantly pushing the envelope. Mams has done it again with his brilliant ideas, and yeah, man, I'm here for it. I'm excited. This has got me very, very gassed for Misfits 008.
Yeah, we're gassed, Ridgeway. We're so gassed, but I've got to say, like, this was the hardest time I've ever had putting a card together because we had date changes a few times. Okay. Fighters obviously each have schedules. They have daily lives. They have plans. They have holidays. They have wives. They have girlfriends, whatever they've got going on. So they make plans. And sometimes that's taken for granted. So then obviously trying to organize and keep the same fights we initially had. But as favor would have it, this is now a better card than what was initially being put together. And the fans have to remember, it's a two-way street because the fans keep us honest and they keep us on our toes. But at the same time, sometimes they push you so far because they've got to realize there is a difference between the pay-per-views that we do. And they've got to listen to this carefully. There's a big difference between the budgets and everything that comes with doing a pay-per-view with KSI headlining a bill versus a free view show on the zone. It's like UFC Fight Night versus a UFC pay-per-view. That's a comparison I could draw. So it's never going to be Tommy Fury and KSI on a free show. That's a pay-per-view. But having said that, because of all the online bullying, I've succumbed to making sure I can at least we can give the best card possible. So hopefully there's a little something for everyone in this one.
I want to talk a little bit more about the format and then the fighters, because even the names that are on there just make it layered with storyline. JJ, let me start with yourself. So you put yourself in, right? So it's fight night. You've made your way to the arena. You've walked in. The cameras followed you in, and you've got yourself into the dressing room.
Okay.
You're in game mode now. I like this.
Okay, focused.
You're sitting down. You may be watching a little bit of the undercard. You're just doing those stretches, sort of loosening out, maybe getting a bit of water, a couple of sweets or pineapple or whatever it is that fighters have, just to get that energy level exactly on point where they want it. Every time you've done this before, you've known who you're fighting. You've known it's Logan, it's Joe Fournier, it's Swarms, it's whoever. You know, you've trained for them, you've got ready for this.
Yeah.
Now imagine, it could be Swarms, or it could be Nick LMAO, or it could be B-Dave, and you've got to sort of, well, it's the game plan A if it's this one, it's the game plan B if it's this one. What happens in your head? How do you prepare for that?
Well, I think for me, I'd have to be very, very tactical. It all depends when I should tag in. If I'm tired and I know my opponent is fresh, it's probably a good idea for me to tag. So that could be a bit of a tactic there. Or if I know I have the better of another opponent, then I might not tag to make sure I stay there to beat this guy. And then as soon as he gets knocked out or eliminated, I'm there instantly with the tag to peace out, get a break, and come back in. But then, you're going to get my opponent or opponents doing the same thing, wanting to tag as well to try and find the right person that they want to fight against. So, yeah, there's a lot of tactics to it. Same with like the tag team. It's a lot on the mind, and the best thing to be is just fit and ready for all outcomes, because you never know what's going to happen, man.
Mams, talk to me a little bit about the narrative behind the guys that are in there, because Nick, he came in, and let's be honest, I've told him I've told it to him a couple of times now. I didn't expect that performance against Jay Swingler. I was expecting a really good Jay Swingler and someone that maybe get a bit frozen in the headlights in Nick LMAO. That didn't happen. He turned up. Swarms, he looked like a guy that was getting momentum, that was getting ready to go for this redemption and show what he was about. Didn't happen against Deji, but I get the impression he wants to get straight back in there and show what he's about, and that just wasn't happening for him. And B-Dave, again, after the Pineda thing, he comes back and he shows in a tag match that he's got explosiveness in his hands. Add on top of that a wild card option that we don't know. You must have been mapping this out for a good while.
Yeah, I mean, I tweeted the other day, sometimes people will never know the stuff that goes in, how many fighters were considered for this, and then some of them were like, well, if this guy's in it, I'm not going to do it. If that guy's in it, I'm not going to do it, etc. So I really praise the 4 competitors that have stepped up to do this. And it's an innovation. It's we're pioneering something new here that I think will have legs. And JJ was right, back to his point. It's all about strategy in this. Yes, you have to be fit. You have to bring your A game. But your question's a very good one, because you have to know like who you're preparing for in terms of opposition. But also, don't forget, it is the last man standing. But if the rounds end, at the end of the fight, there's 2 of you in there, or 3 of you, or none of you have been eliminated, which is unlikely. But if that happens, you've got to consider that you need to be ahead on the judges' scorecard. And the rules and the judges' scores for this are very interesting, very similar to obviously traditional boxing in some regards. But you're now scoring each individual 8 to 10 points, depending on their performance in the round. And don't forget, if you get knocked down, you are gone. So
Yeah.
strategy, conserving, you know, you want to stay on the apron and not tag in. That's fine until someone comes to tag you. If you refuse the tag, then you're out immediately. And you cannot consecutively tag the same person twice in a row. So you can't say Swarms tags B Dave. B Dave gets in, has a little flurry. He can't go back to Swarms then for a tag. He's got to go to the other corner. So strategy is key. The coaches and the competitors have to be sitting down with each other and thinking, let's think of how we're going to win this. What's the best way? When Nick LMAO gets in, this is what we've got to do. When Swarms gets in, this is what we got to do, so on and so forth. So I think that's going to be a big part of it. In terms of these guys all agreeing to fight, again, kudos to them. B Dave, absolute looking for redemption, looking to be the king of that hill. Being the last man standing here puts him in an unbelievable standing, especially against competitors that we got. We got Ryan Johnston, who's had one fight before, and he's looking to make a name for himself here. And then, of course, you've got the favorites, which are Swarms and Nick LMAO. And Swarms, and this is the weight limit of 165 pounds. So you think Swarms was ripped before? He's just shredded right now and looking to he's getting rid of that last bit of belly fat and just being in optimum shape. And that's where he should be at his height. So I think we're going to get the best of him. Nick LMAO obviously wants to redeem the loss to Jay, which many thought was a draw or a win for him. So it's just got all the ingredients to create fireworks.
Well, I'm excited just to see after a round is over, everyone sitting down with their trainers in each corner. Just that look is just going to be amazing. Just seeing everyone just sitting down, just there, like, what is going on?
Yeah. What's getting me is, in theory, you could be in the ring beating on someone, and 2 minutes later, you have to look for them for a tag out. You have to use them as your. Yeah. I was just before you joined the call, Mams, we were having a quick chat off air about the last tag match in Telford. I said how you and I were sitting ringside for a minute of it, just looking at each other, just saying it's actually working. It's actually happening, and you know, we get the chance to relive that. It's a hell of a fight. There's going to be a whole load of talking around that. Just while we're all here, let's have a quick look around the card elsewhere. One guy who I was
before we move on, let's ask this hypothetical of JJ, because I think this is interesting. JJ, if you did a Survivor tag last man standing match, who would you want in that ring? The other three.
Tommy Fury, Jake Paul, and who else do I think deserves to be in there? You know what? We'll put Salt Pappy as well. I think that'd be a good mix. Yeah, I'd beat all of them, but I'd love the challenge for me. I don't think I'd ever tag anyone. Yeah, I'm a madman.
So before we move on, that is a strategy that someone might have. Obviously, what happens is, if two people start round one, the other two fighters will start round two.
Yeah.
And if one of them is eliminated, the one who hasn't had any ring time will basically always start the next round, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we've thought of everything, and we will publish the rules and guidelines for this and the scoring for all the fans to see, because I'm sure they're going to be curious and tweeting about
it. All I'm thinking now is, Mams, you've got your work cut out to make that four-way Survivor tag that JJ just mentioned there. Off you go. Start making some calls. Tommy Fury, Jake Paul, Salt Pappy. Salt Pappy, by the way, who's now had eye surgery, so has just turned that game up a little bit more. He says he's now no longer suffering from blurred vision. So let's see what that can do for him. His last opponent, of course, Mr. Anthony Taylor. I was speaking with Paul yesterday. He said, look, I'm not having this. I've got a point to prove. I've got to show what I can do. I'm taking a fight that I know is really hard, but I'm down for it. Okay, you're in there with a guy who's going to bring it.
I'm intrigued to see how well Paul Bamber does against Anthony Taylor, because after Paul Bamber's last performance, I wasn't impressed. But you know, Anthony Taylor's a different opponent, and I feel like Paul Bamba definitely has a point to prove. So if he can, well, if he was able to beat Anthony Taylor, then that just complicates things even more, in a good way, because then you've got another person that could definitely be in the space that could, excite viewers, etc.
Is it a case for Paul where, and I hope he doesn't take offense watching this, he knows he's going into this fight as an underdog. Is it just a case of if he can show up and really show up? Do you know what I mean? You remember back to Ash Raksu fighting Anthony Taylor in Sheffield on 0-2. Okay, he didn't get the win, but he came from that early knockdown, survived the load, and then he came back and got a great fight against Kilkenny, which he won. If Paul Bamba can get a tail like that, I'm sure he'd probably take it.
Oh, of course. I mean, I think for me, it was just the amount of hype Paul Bamba had beforehand, before his fight against Christopher, and then to just get manhandled the way he did, it was quite a sad watch. But, I'm excited to see him fight again. You can lose, doesn't mean it's over for you. There's so many fighters who have lost and have turned it around and have become amazing fighters. So I'm excited to see what Paul Bamba can do. And I'm sure Anthony Taylor's going to come through with the heat, come through with all the entertainment that he brings. And it's going to be a good fight.
Talk to me, Mams. What are you thinking about it?
I think it'll be fireworks. I think Bamba knows he didn't show up for that fight with Avia. He wasn't his best. He felt drained. This is a more suitable weight for him. And I said to Anthony, I said, look, you're the A-side. Are you sure you agreed to this weight? And he's like, absolutely. I don't care. I'll go to 180. 180 is comfortable for Bamba. He's not going to feel drained. Anthony has put in a lot of work to beat Salt Papi. It was not an easy task for him. And he really, really trained. I give him credit for that. He really trained very hard for that and had a great strategy for that fight. So he can't go into cruise control and start relaxing and thinking this is an easy fight. This is, he has to keep the momentum going. So for both of them, I think it's an important fight.
I think we know he's going to shout your name after the fight, by the way, JJ, just so just if he wins.
I would hope not, because he is not on my level.
The other fight I want to take a look at is obviously your old training partner, Hasim Rahman. He did some time at Shoot Fighters, and the idea of him fighting a bare knuckle boxer is, it brings back this idea of crossover boxing. This is not YouTuber boxing or influencer boxing. It's a whole universe of crossover sports stars.
Don't you start. It's all crossover boxing at this point.
Exactly.
It's all crossover boxing. You're crossing over from one to the other.
Exactly.
But Alan Belcher, BKFC heavyweight champ, against Hasim Rahman Jr. If Hasim turns up, the Hasim that can turn up, that's going to be a long day for Belcher, because he can, but he has to do the training. He has to go the extra mile. He's really got to show up as the best version of himself, because Belcher is a dangerous man, very dangerous.
And Rahman, I mean, last time JJ, we spoke after his fight with Greg Hardy, where, Greg Hardy, much bigger man, and Hasim, to be fair to him, took it at really short notice. If you remember, it was a really, really late replacement, and he's gone and stepped in there. And I remember you saying, how tough is this kid? Like, how up for it was he? Even against a guy like a monster like Greg Hardy, the guy does not get put away. It's that simple.
Well, the shots that Rahman was taking, I was there, right at the front, hearing the sounds, seeing the sweat fly off his face when he was getting hit repeatedly by Greg. It was outrageous, the power that was coming from Greg Hardy, and he was just able to eat the shots. Yes, he got put down once, but that was it, man. It shows how tough Rahman is, and I think this fight is going to be absolutely amazing. I have no idea who could win this, and I think that's always the best thing when it comes to these type of fights.
So we're coming to Nashville. Mams, tell us what can we expect? What's waiting for us when we get off the plane in Nashville?
Well, you'll see that you can't go anywhere without hearing someone singing and playing the guitar in Nashville. Every street corner, there's people. Every bar, department stores, restaurants. That's why they call it Music City. It's the most musical place on earth, and they really revere it. They love music here so much. Um, and then obviously you're going to get the Mams tour of the countryside. And the cowboy life. But I think there's going to be a genuine buzz here. There's going to be a live performance that I'm very excited about, and overall, I think this is going to be our best non-pay-per-view card so far in terms of variety of the fights. In terms of look, and the Misfits audience have to understand sometimes there's new people being introduced into our ecosystem, into our little universe, right? That's growing. And that's for the good and for the longevity of what we have. So they have to give people a chance if they're like, who? But they've got a fan base completely outside. Like Brandon Herrera has a massive fan base outside of Misfits. And he's a tough man. He wants to make his name here. He's coming to fight. So, and you know, the locals love him. So I asked him, I said, is this a one-off for you? He goes, no, I really want to do this, you know, and he's like been punching his heavy bag for the last year. Now finally he's taking boxing classes every day and everything. So, you know, you've got the variety of people, and we always said we want to expand this space. If we want it to keep going and put on the number of cards that we're putting on, we cannot just stick to YouTubers and TikTokers. There aren't enough who want to fight. You know, everyone says they want to, by the way, but when they get the call from Mams Taylor and they're like, I'm not sure I want to get punched in the face, you know? So that's the thing. Obviously, the main event's serious but entertaining at the same time. And then you've got the pros, you've got the influencers, you've got everyone, you've got a bit of everything. And the undercard, the prelims are going to be amazing too. Really, really fun. Corn and Unbear. I mean,
the rematch.
You know, yeah, the rematch. Is that our first? That's our first rematch on Misfits.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah,
it is.
It
is.
Yeah, no, it is.
And I got to make sure I remember this because it's true. Honestly, I couldn't have put this card together without Keem, because we've been on the phone for hours every day, convincing fighters, talking to this guy and that guy. And the whole idea was born from Keem saying, let's do a triple threat match. And I go, wait, I've got it. We can't do a triple threat. Let's do this. And this is kind of how it evolved. So shout out to Keem and Happy Punch as well.
I just while we've got it, I know we touched on Tommy at the top there, JJ. Before we start wrapping up, just a couple more on him and the preparation there. I saw your tweet in what seemed to be frustration the other day, saying, "Come on, get it done, sign the deal, let's go." Jake then tried to wade in and say his little bit, and then are we training for that fight? Are we ready to go for a Tommy Fury fight?
I am training for that fight. You know, we've negotiations are going back and forth. We're just waiting on Tommy, essentially. You know, we just got to do a few things here and there to make sure it's all perfect, but it's very, very close. And yeah, man, I'm training. I'm getting ready for that fight. That's what I want, because I know as soon as I beat Tommy Fury, Jake Paul's whole career, his whole legacy is in the bin, and I will be laughing all the way to the bank and back.
We've to add to that, Chris, we've gone back and forth and negotiated, and now we've agreed to all of the changes that they've requested. I don't think there's anything more other than for the ink to dry for both guys, and we make this happen. And exactly what JJ said, cements the legacy, and then we've got other massive plans as well, some boxing related and some not. So, you know, I think at this point, I know the talking point is always, we do bring Jake up and he brings us up, if you got you up, and just basically at this point, I think he's going to fade into obscurity.
I mean, he
don't know.
already is. He already is, man. Like, no one cares anymore. I feel like his hype has died ever
Yeah,
since he lost.
after you beat Tommy, what's he gonna do? Fight Masvidal or something like that?
Yeah, it's yawn.
Yeah, so that's all good. But I think KSI Tommy, the Battle of Britain. It's gonna be it's
Battle of Britain. I like that. I like that. That has
yeah,
to be what it's called. That's
that's it.
crazy.
So
Battle of Britain.
our pay-per-views are going to be named. We're going to get out of doing the OO thing because it's confusing everyone and they're all comparing shows. You can't compare the apples and oranges, you know? It's apples and strawberry pineapples. You like strawberries,
I don't know what you're going with this.
You were fine with apples and oranges, Tom. That worked.
I just think strawberries and pineapples are a much more rich and enjoyable fruit than an apple. An apple's still really, really good.
Oh, bro, just anyway. Oh, God.
I didn't want to jump in, but at the same time,
no, what are you doing here?
The Battle of Britain, though, is something that I'm sure we can't wait for and get behind. The one other thing I wanted to ask you about, you were speaking a moment ago, Mams, about the idea of we can't just rely on YouTubers and TikTokers forever. You know, there's this whole other sort of ecosystem and other, be it, I've heard Callum refer to sportsmen and politicians in press conferences before, all these other areas. One name I want to put forward who retired from his own space in this last week, has a martial arts background, feels very highly of himself, has a major following, maybe could be the fourth man on the apron if Salt Pappy, Tommy Fury or Jake Paul can't make it. Let me ask you how we'd feel about Zlatan Ibrahimovic joining the Misfits universe. Just point it out there.
I would love for that to happen. That would be incredible. I mean, yeah, I've seen him on the bag. He looks like he can bang. Let's go, bro. Get in the ring. Get in the squared circle, mate.
I remember him having a run-in with Romelu Lukaku, I think it was, when they both played for either side of Milan.
Yeah.
Oh, Mams, can we do something?
Bro, this is such a nightmare. I'm trying to put my charger in because I'm on 2% now, and my battery dies in like 20 minutes. I think it's dying. Dies in like 20 minutes, and this charger's not even charging it. So, all right, so let's wrap up soon. Or you and JJ continue if you lose me. I'm so sorry.
Is that you trying to get out of answering about Zlatan Ibrahimovic?
Definitely not. I think it'll be great to have him on. Aside from that, what you were saying about the crossover boxing and bringing in different people, I've seen criticism, and while I'm here, let's address this. We're never going to put a pro fighter against a YouTuber, a TikToker, an influencer, unless they are at the upper echelon.
I think what he was trying to say is, unless they're at the upper echelon of boxing, then they're allowed to, or if they request it. But I don't think we're going to try and bring pro boxers with influencers, because that's not what that's not what we made Misfits for.
Absolutely. I've just got the same vibe from when we did the Twitter space just before New Orleans, and I couldn't hear Mams. Just kept cutting him off. He did that.
Oh God, that's so funny.
At least we got the bit about strawberries and pineapples. That's what everybody.
Yeah. You know what? That might have been the highlight of the whole video.
Listen, JJ, on that note, I'm going to let you go and enjoy your evening. Thank you very much. We are
Thank you for having me.
Everything that comes down the pipe, RE, Tommy Fury, and the Battle of Britain. The Survivor tag match is what's going to grab the headlines, though, in the next few weeks. I am sure. Nick LMAO, Swarms, B, Dave, all ready to go and show what they're about. Ryan Johnston is, of course, the wild card in there, and it's on the zone. Hopefully, we see you all there in Nashville as well. JJ, my man, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We will see you again very, very soon. Thank you.